Welcome, welcome. Look at everybody coming in. I love
Yay.
it.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Good
Look
to
at
see
you on
you.
camera. I recognize some faces. I bet you do too as well, Cathy.
Oh, yes.
Yay. Look at this good group. I know we'll have some more people coming as well. I've already hit the record button and I do want to keep us right on time. So I'm going to go ahead and get us started. I hope you all are excited to be here. I'm excited for you to be here and I'm excited to share the information that we're going through today. So, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Today's event is called Reignite Your Impact in New York, featuring Cathy Derksen. She is the founder of Inspired Tenacity, and she's also an international speaker, a publisher, and a 23-time #1 bestseller. Oh my goodness. I'm just going to pause right there, Cathy, because I just can't believe it. 23 times #1 bestseller. I love it. I love it. I'm in
Yeah.
Pensacola, Florida right now, and we were just talking about how cold it was here last night. Cathy and I were talking, and I mentioned that it was colder in Juneau, Alaska or it was warmer in Juneau, Alaska last night than it was here in Pensacola, Florida, where I live. So I'm curious about where in the world are each of you? I would love to have you enter some information in the chat. We are going to be interactive today. So tell us where in the world you are. Tell us why you came to this event. Like, did you come to support Cathy? Did you come to learn more information? Did you come to connect with other women? And tell us if you would rather be somewhere warmer, celebrating your accomplishments, where instead of freezing fingers, the only thing freezing would be the ice in your cocktail or in your mocktail drink at the rooftop bar. So tell me those three things. Where are you in the world right now? Why did you come to this event? And would you rather be somewhere warmer, celebrating each other rather than sitting in whatever room you're in right now doing this on Zoom? And I'll give you a few minutes to interact. Welcome, Cathy. How are you doing? While we're getting some information in the chat, I'll say hello to you.
Good. I'm good. I just thought I'd add mine in there too. And that yes, I am on the west coast of Canada and we've been enjoying some relatively warm weather too. So bonus.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been warmer up there than I've been where I am. Oh, look at some of these responses. Okay, so somebody in New Jersey, oh, Joyce, oh my goodness. Yes, you would probably want to be somewhere warmer. I can only imagine what it's like in New Jersey right now. Cathy, West Coast, we already talked about that. Beautiful Vancouver. You're getting some great weather right now. And we've also got Dinara here. Welcome, Dinara. She is a new member on our Woman Explore team. So glad to have you here.
Yes,
She is
hello. Nice
tuning
to
in
meet
from
you.
Bali. I love it. She'd love to be in New York right now. She hasn't seen snow in 7 years. Wow. It's definitely a lot warmer in Bali for sure. So glad to have you here, Dinara. And looks like Sharon's here as well, one of my friends from Pensacola. Yeah, we could go further south, couldn't we? It was cold. I was telling Cathy about the temperatures on Saturday. Oh my goodness, I'm so afraid for Saturday for us. It's going to be cold. And looks like we've also got Hillary. You're in New York City right now, so very cold up there. And oh, you're in the Leadership Global. Awesome. I love that. I love that. Welcome. Krista, welcome in Plano. I recognize your name. Definitely. Thanks for being here. Yeah, you guys just had some freezing cold weather too. Warming up. I'm so glad. Looks like we've also got Montree here as well from Houston, here to support Cathy. I love that. I love that. Hi, Montree. So glad to have you here. Gail is here from Dallas. Nice. So a lot of people, little chunks in the country, and we've got some international attendees as well. Glad to have each of you here. And I'm so glad to hear all of your information. Thank you for coming to support Cathy. Thank you for coming to learn, and thank you for coming to connect. And I'm so glad a lot of you would rather be in a warmer place to celebrate your accomplishments, because that's what we're going to talk about today. My name is Kolleen Chesley. I'm a retreat strategist with Women Explore, and I work independently for Women Explore. I also run my own consulting business, as well as I'm the founder and director of a nonprofit that I've been leading for over 20 years. If you're not familiar with Women Explore, or you might see our new logo, We Group, as well. We are a global retreat company that handles everything. We do venue selection, we do the insurance, we cover liability, we provide support for attendees, we do marketing, and we do it all for small and large retreats. We represent over 8,000 venues across over 100 different countries. And we actually guarantee profitability even for our very first time hosts. The demand for in-person experiential events is really growing, not only with women, but across the board. And actually, Women Explore, as I mentioned, is transitioning to a new name and a new logo because we're now being called the We Group, because we're also able to help serve a co-ed audience of both hosts and attendees. And as a matter of fact, I just returned from Phoenix last week where I facilitated 2 retreats for C-suite executives. If you would like to learn more about hosting a retreat to showcase your expertise, to provide more opportunities for your clients, or to stand out differently in a noisy world, please don't hesitate to reach out. We are here to help support you. Welcome again to all the attendees that are here today. I'm so happy for you to be here for this presentation. Like I mentioned, we are going to be very interactive, so please drop in the chat if you've got questions. Please drop your contact information in there if you want to connect with others in today's event. Please turn on your camera, and we would love to have you participate during today's event. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop those in as well, because we will have some Q&A time at the end. And if you want to save that information, don't forget to save the chat before you leave. We will send out a copy of this recording to all the attendees, but we do not include the chat in that recording. So make sure you grab that before you leave. Are y'all ready to get started? I'm so excited to introduce our guest here today. I'm so excited for each of you to learn from her and all the success she's had in not only the retreat industry, but also in her publishing business as well. So I'm excited today to showcase a retreat host, Cathy, who's now hosting her 3rd retreat with us. She hosted her first retreat with Women Explore back in January in 2025 and hosted her 2nd retreat this past November. At both retreats, Cathy turned personal reinvention into a platform for global impact by providing a container for accomplished women to share and celebrate each other. She's now coming back and hosting a 3rd retreat with us, which we'll talk about a lot more once we get through the introduction information. Today, we're also going to explore how Cathy and how her retreat offers a unique, holistic path for women leaders to reconnect to what matters most. You're going to hear the story from her shift, how she went from lab tech to leadership mentor, and discover how she's helping women tap into their own legacy, create impact with income, and also take action from a place of calm, grounded clarity. Now, it's my honor to introduce someone who has dedicated her life to helping women realign their purpose and amplify their impact with authenticity. Welcome, Cathy Derksen. Cathy is the passionate founder of Inspired Tenacity, and she's also an international speaker, a publisher, and as I mentioned, 23-time #1 bestselling author. After reimagining her own life in her 50s, Cathy discovered her true mission to help midlife women embrace new possibilities and boldly share their stories. She believes that authorship and community are the keys to true impact, both for the storyteller and for the lives that they touch. Through her multi-author book projects, retreats, and a vibrant community, Cathy's helped over 200 women become published authors, amplifying their visibility, establishing their businesses, and building lasting legacies. Her programs are more than just platforms. They're launching pads for purpose-driven transformation. Cathy lives by the mantra, do what makes you come alive. And she brings that energy into everything she creates. When she's not mentoring women to stand in their own power, you'll find her recharging in nature, soaking in the inspiration around her. Please welcome our honored guest, Cathy Derksen. So excited to have you here, Cathy. Yes.
Always so lovely to hang out with you.
Oh, it's always great. I wish we were sitting in person in New York City right now, though. I'll be honest. I love being with you. Give us an update. How have you been since I know you just had a retreat with us just several months ago, and now you're planning the next one. So tell us what's going on in your world and share a little bit about your story, how you went from lab tech to now best-selling author and international speaker.
Yes, it's definitely been a bit of a journey and a twisted path. And I always love to say these days, if you'd asked me 5 years ago if I saw myself becoming an author and a publisher, I would have laughed at you because there was nothing in my previous lives that pointed in this direction. And so it's definitely been a bit of a journey. And yes, with the retreats that I've been doing have been in New York City, and we've been doing billboards for my authors. So the first one we did, I guess it was pretty much exactly a year ago that we were there, and Kolleen was there with me. We had a great time, and that one was just with one of my books. And we had such a great time. I thought, well, let's open this up to more of my books, because as Kolleen was saying, the next book, so far I've got 9 of my books that have been released in the last 3.5 years, and I've got probably 4 more that should be out by the end of Q2. So I've got lots of authors that are like, where's my billboard? So yes, so when we went in November, we had, I think, 4 different books were included in that one. And Joyce, that's here right now, she was one of the attendees that came with us. That was great to hang out. And then the billboards, or the trip, the next one now is we're going March 22nd to 25th. And so we'll have billboards options for all of my authors. And we're even making it an option for people who want to come with us and aren't in my books yet. So we do have options to join us, whether you're in a book or not. And we've got options, of course, for all of my authors to be on the billboard as well. So we're expanding and increasing and kind of listening to what the people in the group are asking for. So it has been fun. And yes, like you mentioned, my original career, I was in medical genetics for 25 years, mostly in hospital labs and public education. I realized, I guess around 2010, that I was really going through that part of figuring out, what am I here to do in the world? That was a great job when my kids were little, but then I thought, you know what, I need to do what makes me come alive. And so I knew at that time I wanted to do something that specifically helped women change their life. But of course I had no idea what that would be. And I chose to go into financial planning at that point, thinking, well, maybe this is how I can help women change their life. And after 10 years in the finance industry, realized that, well, it was a little too controlled and confined and masculine for really what I was looking for. So next month will be 5 years since I left the job behind to start out as an entrepreneur. And again, really wasn't sure what I was going to do when I got there, but just knew that I had this passion to help women and stepped into it with both feet. And yes, the books, I started doing books in 2019 as just one of the authors in other people's books. And I found that I loved the process of putting our story on paper and releasing it out in the world. I loved the community that came together in each book. And as Kolleen mentioned at the beginning, I now have 23 books that I've contributed to that are out there in the world. And yes, 9 of those are my books, and the rest are all other people's books. So I think I've worked with over a dozen different publishers now and many different communities. So I love this whole model of sharing our story, using being a published author as a way to build our business and build visibility, expand our networks. But to me, a big part of it is that impact we can create with our stories. That I think, especially as women, we learn from each other, we're inspired by each other. We can really get that inspiration to do bigger things by seeing what other women are doing. So that is, a few of the reasons why I just love, 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 love the multi-author book platform.
I love that you love it too, Cathy. And I'll showcase, here's one of the books that Cathy has curated. Grit and Tenacity was the one that I was in, and which prompted the January retreat, which was so amazing. But help me also understand, you've done this 23 times yourself. Help other women understand what happens when you become a best-selling author. How does that help support you? How does that help support your business? How does that help change your confidence? All the other attributes. Telling your story, how does that really help change women?
Yeah, that's definitely from many different perspectives. One factor I find for a lot, I get the feedback from a lot of people that there's almost a therapeutic part of putting your story on paper and sending it out in the world. And to me, that's one of the really big, powerful things as well. And one of the other sides of it is they say that 92% of people have it on their bucket list to become a published author, but only about 5% of people ever do. So for most women, they do have it in their mind that they want to get published, they want to get their story out there, but it's so far on the back burner. They feel like, oh, that'll never happen. And so when it does happen, and they're able to become a published author and have their story out, there's almost this shift, this feeling of, wow, I didn't think I would ever do that. And now I've done that. What else is possible? And I find the billboards have a similar impact that, it's something we all are aware of. There's these cool billboards all over Times Square, but it's another one of those things that's going to weigh in the back of our minds of, well, that's cool, but that'll never happen to me. And so when it does, and you're standing there on Broadway looking up at your picture on the billboard with all your friends, there's a next shift of, wow, if I can do that, what else can I do? And to me, that is one of the really strong impacts. And for those of us who are entrepreneurs, which most of the women in my community tend to be, just having the word author in your profile puts you into a different category. And especially if you are getting into speaking opportunities, getting into other communities, just having that word in your profile helps you get all of those benefits. And of course, we all know it's the know, like, trust when you're out there looking for new clients. So your chapter gives the people around you that opportunity to read your chapter, learn a bit about you, what your journey has been, why you're doing what you're doing, and it becomes a good stepping stone of that know, like, trust. So there's so many different ways that the books really help women amplify who they are and build their business.
I absolutely love that. I'm so glad that you put so much into that answer because I think it is so impactful. I know for me, I felt the same way. Once I was an actual author and it was published, that was one step. But you also were able to add international to author and also international best-selling author. So your books not only help women tell their stories, they also connect women together and connect other people together. So how do your books and how does participating in a billboard or attending a retreat like this, how does that further the message of what somebody's written in their story?
I think in a few different ways, and especially with these multi-author books where you're working with a group, everyone who's now in that project is connecting with you, learning about you. And when we get to the point that we're releasing the book, now you are being amplified out in 20 communities all over the world. And like you said, yes, all of the books, we reached #1 international bestseller. And a lot of that is that the community in each one of my books is a sorry, is an international group of women. So that really helps as well, that we're amplifying each other all over the world.
Absolutely. And I love that your projects do that. And as a matter of fact, the retreat that you just held in November was a perfect example of that because you had women from how many different countries come to New York for the retreat? Was
It
it
was
five
four
countries?
altogether. So
Four.
Germany, Australia, Canada, and the States.
That's amazing. You're bringing people together that would have maybe a limited opportunity to meet each other in person, but they participate in one of these multi author books, and all of a sudden they've got a community around them, almost like a support system. Would you describe it in that way?
Oh, yes. And I think, for a lot of women that do decide they are going to get published, it's that imposter syndrome in so many cases that holds them back from either doing the writing to start with or actually publishing it once they've written. And so I think working in a group really helps that part because you know you're not alone, you know you're supported in getting this whole thing through and out and published. And so yes, there's so much energy that goes into the community.
Hmm. And I love that you provide that opportunity because you do such a great job as a curator communicating with that community and keeping those groups of people together. I'm still in touch with many of the authors that are in this book that came out. We're on what, 2 years ago now? Maybe 3 years ago now, this one came out. So that just speaks volumes to the community that you create because I'm still surrounded by a lot of the women that were in that book. So tell me, because you provide other services besides just the book curation, helping them write their story, tell their story in a printed way, and you've also mentioned that you help them with a billboard because celebrating accomplishments is super important. What other services do you provide these authors after their books come out? And I'm going to be getting into an in-person experience we're going to talk about in New York City for authors as well.
Yes, and part of what I include in my programs are different training pieces that help us to build our networks, expand our skills, and so always having guest speakers coming in, whether they're talking about LinkedIn strategies, strategies around I've got my book, now what? One of our most recent speakers, the title of her talk was Your Book is Not the Finish Line. And so it's all about, okay, what now can you do? You've got the book in your hand. What now? How do I use this? So we're always incorporating those. And like you said, a lot of my books, or not a lot, but some of my books launched over 3 years ago. And those communities of women are still in my community. So all of the guest speakers I bring in, all of my authors are invited to all of those talks. So you don't get dropped off the edge as soon as your book is out. You are in an ongoing community of women getting together and learning and expanding and incorporating the information. So
So now tell me what led you or what drew you to do an in-person experience? What drew you to even talk about this first retreat? And now you're going on the third retreat with Women Explore.
yes, yeah, and I think part of that, and like I said, one of my big focuses is really helping women step into new possibilities, things that we've never done before, things we couldn't even have imagined ourselves doing before. And I think the billboards was something like that for me. And when I first started bringing the books together myself, my first book that I did was called Embrace Courage. And I think I subconsciously chose that title because I knew that it would require a lot of courage on my part to bring together 20 women from around the world to be in my first book of, come join me in this book. I've never done this before. Let's go, you know. And so the billboards, it started, most of my books I published with Action Takers Publishing, but that one book that Kolleen was showing us there, that one was published with a different group that was based out of New York. And so the billboards were something that they did with their publishing groups. So that's where I got the idea. And then after seeing, wow, this is cool, then I started looking around and, well, how do I make this happen myself? How do I get on a billboard? How do I set this up? What's the next steps? And that's where I thought, well, this is what we could do. This is that next what's possible. And so now I manage the billboard side as well as the retreat side. And it's, really a team effort because of course Colleen and the we people organize the back end of the retreat. So they look after all of that. And then with the billboard, I get support with my team in creating the billboards, the images, the video sequences, and all of that. So it is a real team effort to make it all come together.
And you know what? I'll share it's a team experience too, because I don't know if you remember. I remember, and any of you that have ever been on a billboard, especially a billboard in Times Square, I remember the exact moment when I stepped forward and could see it. And we were probably 200 yards away from it when I first saw it. Raise your hand if you've been on a billboard in Times Square before. Yeah, so Joyce probably knows. Yeah, and Cathy knows, Pauline as well. Yeah, you remember that moment. Do you remember seeing the guest in January when they saw the billboard for the first time?
Oh, definitely, yes. And even when we went in November, because how the billboard works, it's a 24-hour period. So it shows up a few times each hour over that 24-hour period. And in that morning, when we were on our retreat at the hotel, we were having a breakfast collaboration networking meeting, but we knew that the billboard was already up and the the location I use has a live stream camera, so you can see it from anywhere at any time. And so while we're sitting in the restaurant, we took our phones out and we dialed into that camera. And so we could see our billboard up there. And there were tears in the eyes of so many of the women there. It's like, wow, like even looking at it on the little screen on their camera, it's like, oh my God, this is real. It was very,
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, it is such a cool experience. If you've never done that before, it doesn't matter what you've accomplished in life. I believe you've accomplished a lot to celebrate. And I believe more women and men as well could do more celebration. And I love that you provide this, Cathy. So tell us about what you're providing coming up just almost a month from now. Less than
yikes.
2 months from now. Two
Yeah,
months
yeah.
from now. I didn't
Yeah,
mean to
don't push
rush
us
you
yet.
there.
2 months.
I know. I'm so excited. Let me tell you, I'm so excited for March that I think I've forgotten about February. So tell us what you've created. Tell us what you have for people that might want to participate, because this is a great opportunity. If you haven't worked with Cathy before, I'll just share kudos because she's absolutely fabulous to work with. And then to come and celebrate with her and have fun with her, it is just such a cool person to have in your corner. So share with us, Cathy, what you've created.
Yes, yes. So basically with the trip to New York, we're going on March 22nd to 25th. And the first night we do a welcome dinner where we all get together and get to meet each other and celebrate being in town together. Then on the first full day in the morning, we have, like I was mentioning, kind of a networking collaboration breakfast event. And then this year we've got a photographer who will be meeting us in the middle there as well. And then she'll be offering some personal photo shoots where you can get headshots and things done, as well as coming with us to the billboard to do billboard shots and outdoor shots. So those are options there. So we pretty much spend that afternoon out at our billboard doing photos, laughing, crying, all those things. And then in the evening, we everyone has the options of going out to the theater, which we're right in the middle of the theater district. So there's a lot of different options of shows if you want to go to. We've got a favorite restaurant that we discovered the first time we went, where all of the servers are Broadway wannabes, and so they literally sing while they serve. So it's almost like being at your own show while you're having dinner. And then the next day, we're planning to do a boat cruise down around Statue of Liberty. And then later that day, we are going to a chocolate and wine tasting event, which we did last time, and it was wonderful. So we are doing that again. And then the day after that is kind of a free day. So for those that can stick around, they are free to do what they'd like in town. And since I'm on the West Coast, I tend to have to get on a flight pretty early. So I tend to miss that next one. But the days that we have together are full of, and there's lots of time in the middle there too, that if you do want to go shopping or if you want to walk around town or do other things, there's a lot of free time in the middle of the day as well. So that's always fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the West Coast is why the chocolate experience got added to this last one, because I think you missed out on that when we did the January one. And it was an
Well, in
experience.
January, we didn't know about it until the
I know
last
we didn't
minute.
know about
And then
it.
it was like, oh, someone invited us to go. And it's like, oh, I'm already leaving. So this the
Absolutely. I
second
know.
time we
And
made sure, yeah.
yeah, absolutely. I missed it in November, but you've added two really cool experiences. You've added that chocolate and wine tasting. You've also added the Hudson River cruise, which is such a great opportunity to go out and see the history of New York, and also just to be inspired by something that has been there for hundreds of years and will be there for hundreds of more years as well. So I love that. What feedback did you get from your guests, either in the January or from November? What is the feedback that you've gotten from the retreat attendees that have come on your retreats?
Yeah, no, everybody just loved it. And there was comments in our chat later that it was, the defining moment of their year. And actually I think Joyce was wanting to give us some words from her trip. Joyce, do you want to give us some feedback on the November trip?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So as I put in the chat, like I live in New Jersey. I actually worked in New York for over 20 years. So for me, it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to New York to see all this stuff because I've been to New York and I saw and did a lot of stuff. But I went because I wanted to meet other women who were authors. I wanted to put myself in a different community. And that I got that and more. I connected with a few women. One was in the book that I'm part of, some with another book. And I just found the connections were made very, very quickly from the moment that we got together. Our first day, we all met in the lobby for drinks and then we went up for dinner. But there was just incredible sharing and camaraderie. And that was built the next day. We had, Cathy mentioned at breakfast, and we all shared about a little bit about ourselves, what our chapter was about. And I think we could have stayed through lunch. I think the wait staff was kind
Yes.
of looking at us like, when are you going to leave? Because we're going to serve lunch soon. And then just went to the billboard that day, and it was just one incredible magical day. The events that Cathy had put together were very good, but what I really enjoyed was the free time to figure out what you wanted to do. So I went with a group and we went to see a Broadway show. Anybody who's not familiar, in Times Square, actually not far from where the billboard is, you can buy reduced Broadway tickets. It's for that day. So we picked out a show and we went out to dinner with the group and we went to the show. Everything was super convenient. So it wasn't as though you had to take an Uber to go from one place to another. Everything was within walking distance, which was really, really nice. So very easy to walk to see the billboards, go to the Broadway play, go out to dinner. We had hooked up several of us in the mornings for breakfast. There's a diner across the street. So we met in a diner and it was unrushed and just a lot of fun. And I would say the connections that I made with folks there have lasted. So that was in November, and here we are in January. And even today, I got an email from one of the women who was on the trip, and she's like, "Hey, let's catch up. We haven't talked." And I've had one-on-ones with some of the others that were there. So like I said, I went for the camaraderie and to meet other authors, and I absolutely got that. And it was just a wonderful time away, relaxation, seeing things that, when you work someplace, you're the last person to do things. So we had gone to the Morgan Museum, which was JP Morgan's, it was his library. And we walked around there and looked at things there. Now, I used to work not far from there. I never went, of course. So it was kind of nice to do that. Kathy had arranged for the chocolate and wine tasting, which was so much fun and everything. So I really felt that the trip was orchestrated very nicely. I really liked the hotel. The hotel was, you could tell it was new, and the accommodations were very nice, very quiet, very safe. So yeah, I walked away getting everything I wanted and more.
Perfect. Thank you. And we hope you can come back again.
What great feedback, Joyce. Thank you so much for adding so much more information there for our guests. We are going to open it up to Q&A. So if anybody does have some questions, we are a little bit of a smaller group, so we can raise our physical hands if we want to, or you can drop them in the chat. But Cathy, while people are thinking of questions, talk about who is a good fit for this particular retreat and tell us about, you've got some other options that are available this time that you didn't have in November as well. So tell us those.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. So most of the people that come on my retreats are people who have contributed chapters in my books, but we're also opening it up to people who have not. If they're like to attend, and like Joyce was saying, it's a great way to meet a new group of ladies and to really know connect with a group that you hadn't otherwise. And of course, we would also love to have you join us in one of the books, but we could always work on that after you come with us to New York. And the first couple times that we went, the billboards that we used had the book in the middle and then photos and names of a few of the authors around the book. And this time we've also opened up the opportunity to have a solo billboard. So you'd be the only person on the billboard. There'd be a picture of the book that you're in, as well as if your company name or whatever else that you're promoting. So there's the option for the solo board with a bit more flexibility. So that's one of the new things that we've added. And actually, maybe I'll share my screen and just show you. 1 second here. Let me get over to where I was, and just got some images here of some of the previous trips. And so this picture here was the first trip. So that was last January. And so you can see here we've got the book in the middle and the photos and names around that.
Just
And
pause
here's
there
that.
and look at how excited we look. Like literally that moment is the coolest. And we probably redid that same shot. How many times, Cathy?
Oh
50,
yes, we've got
100,
quite a few. And
a
Kolleen, is that
ton.
your head in the background there beside
It
me?
might be. Yeah, that could be my head.
Yeah.
There were
And
moments we
this,
were jumping up and down. There were,
yeah.
I mean, like Cathy said, this billboard goes over and over and over again, and there's other stuff in the middle. But the second you see your picture up there, you jump up in front and get social media pictures. And it's like the crowd starts to gather. It's the coolest experience. If you've never done that in New York and Times Square, that is, in my opinion, kind of the ultimate. Thank
Yes,
you, Cathy.
and I know for myself, I would say I'm not a big city person. I would much rather be in the on top of a mountain or somewhere like that. But there's just something about New York City. I don't know what it is, but I am drawn to it. When I'm there, I feel energized and that I just want to get out and about and see things and do things. And this picture was the last January's trip as well. This was our evening welcome event when we all got to meet each other and get together. And then here's that crazy Kolleen and Serena. I know you're here somewhere, but you're hiding in the background. There they are cheering. That was January as well. This was there is me. So this is an example of a solo billboard where it's just the one person and the book or whatever else you want to put on. Here's an example of from our November trip of one of our group billboards. So here you see again, we've got the book in the middle and the people around it. So that is the kind of some pictures to show you more about what we have going on.
What a fabulous opportunity. So thank you so much for that, Cathy. We do have one question in the chat, and then Hillary said it's the pace. We move constantly and other people get drawn into it. The New York, that's the New York vibe, isn't it? It is. It's like an energy that just pulls you. It's so true. All right, now I see Gail's got her hand up. Before that, Gail, we're going to ask Sharon if she would like to unmute and ask her question. She dropped it in chat first, so we'll do that, and then we'll go to you, Gail. Yeah, Sharon, feel free.
Thank you so much. This is very exciting. I always thought I could write a book, but I had no idea where to start, how to start, where, et cetera, et cetera. But I was just curious for somebody who's brand new, how do you introduce them to the concept and to get started? And I'm curious if you have themes on the multi-author books and those kind of general questions.
Yeah. Yeah, no, perfect. And I just put a link in the chat there that's got the list of my current projects. And so
Okay.
basically, all of my books, I bring together groups of roughly 20 people from all over the world. Most of the books are just women. And yes, I do have several different themes. So the ones I have on the go right now, one is focused on entrepreneurs. So that one's called From Inspiration to Success, the Entrepreneurial Journey. So if you are an entrepreneur that wants to share that part of your story, that's an example. Another one I have right now is called Rooted in Resilience. So that one is women only, sharing how resilience has played a role in their life and their success, and also giving examples of how other women might be more resilient in their life. And then I've got another one that I'm just starting, and that one is called The Leader Within. And so basically all of the books, each chapter is roughly 2,500 words is the maximum. And in that you're sharing your personal journey, what you've learned along the way, as well as any tips, tools, strategies that you'd want to leave for the reader to learn from your experience. And so, yes, we would love to have you join us. And I know all women in our age group have many stories that are very powerful and need to be shared out in the world.
Very nice. Thank you. I'll do some more research and get with you if I can, or if I may.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Absolutely.
I'll put my calendar link in the chat here too, so
Okay.
you can book a time to just get together for a chat as well. So,
And remind me, Sharon, if you're at our Powerful Women meeting tomorrow, I might be able to bring you a copy of this book that you can
oh,
check out yourself.
perfect.
Yes,
Since
I
we're
am
in the
coming
same town.
tomorrow. Mhm.
Yay! I will bring it. All right,
Thank you.
Gail, feel free to unmute and ask your question of Cathy.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Hi, Cathy. I'm so excited to be part of one of your newest projects.
Yes.
And I do want to see if I could continue this conversation with you after to
Oh,
be
definitely.
able to understand about ways of marketing the billboard experience. And also as we're from now through then strategically thinking about things we want to put into place or whatever. Can I do that with you?
Oh, definitely.
Okay,
Of
great.
course.
Thank you.
And yeah, and a few of the ways that we can use the billboards besides the excitement of being there, obviously we will be taking pictures. And so you'll have images that you can use in your social media, on your websites, and kind of like what I was saying earlier about, being on a billboard is something that everybody thinks, well, wow, that'd be so cool, but that'll never happen to me. Just having a picture of you on a billboard on your social media and on your website immediately makes other people put you in a different category of, wow, look what she did.
Oof,
So
yeah.
that's a big part of the value in that as well, is not
Perfect.
only does it make you feel like that, like, wow, look what I did, but really just seeing that picture makes other people put you in a different category. And
Yeah.
especially with the work that you're doing, where you're really connecting businesses and community groups that I think having them see that you are someone that steps into new opportunities and possibilities and doesn't see obstacles in making things happen, I think is a big part of that as well.
I appreciate that. Thank you. That's definitely true. And Colleen, I do want to tell you I love your concept, so I may very well be following up with you.
Absolutely. Let's do it, Gail. Let's do it. Definitely. Yeah, I'll drop my link in the chat as well. And I do want to, you both mentioned something that I want to hit on that happened last January. Cathy, do you remember the impromptu posting party that we did in the middle of the retreat? Do you remember that? It was such a small moment in time, but what happened was, so when you see yourself on a billboard, of course, it's the first time you're seeing yourself on the billboard. It's almost like for me, it was validation. Although I knew the book had already hit bestseller status, international bestseller status, all the things. I'd already written the chapter, it was already out there, but seeing it up on the billboard almost made it a little bit more real. And it made it more almost like important for me to celebrate. And so immediately we all took social media pictures, as you saw, hundreds of pictures. Majority of them were bad because somebody's jumping in front of somebody else, but you have to do that. And that's the excitement of that moment. But then afterwards, we were sitting there. I think we were actually upstairs in the conference room of the hotel when we were going through our pictures, and we were just kind of like, oh, who got a picture, a good one of me, or all the pictures of me have my mouth open, or somebody's hand in my face. And we were kind of sharing some good pictures, and people were starting to post them. Well, what ended up happening was each woman would see somebody else post, and they would comment on their post and then share it so that they could capture that picture. So instead of us just sharing our pictures amongst each other, it's like we shared them through social media. And when we did that, because we were all commenting and sharing each other's posts, even though we were sitting physically in the same room together, the algorithms don't know that. And all of a sudden, every one of those posts went huge. And before we all got back, we all felt like we were mini celebrities, not because of just the moment of seeing ourselves on the billboard, but also the community support that came from that. And I would imagine that happens a lot with a lot of your projects, that not only the
Oh, yes.
writing is that moment, but then that moment of celebration is so important.
Yes. Yeah, no, definitely. And to do with that as well, what we did with this last trip, I made a Google Drive when everybody's out there taking pictures and the photographer as well. Everybody put their pictures into the same Google Drive so that everyone could go and pick the pictures that, like you say,
Oh,
all the
nice.
pictures I've got have got my eyes are closed or my mouth is open, or but maybe somebody else got a better shot of that, same moment. And so having all the pictures just put together so everyone can pick and choose and take the images that they wanted really made that work well too. But like you were saying too, with this whole thing of us as a group posting independently, but then sharing, liking, commenting. And that happens, both at launch time when the book is coming out, as well as, like you're saying, when we're out at the billboard doing that. And yes, that can amplify all of your stuff. And of course, with the algorithms, once they get going, then it doesn't just amplify that post out to a wider community. Now, something else that you posted behind that is riding that same wave. And so it's getting caught up in the algorithm and put out wider as well. So yeah, that is one of the big advantages of being in a multi-author book versus a solo book, is that marketing a solo book is really just you out there in the world trying to get some momentum. Whereas when you've got 20 women from all over the world, we build momentum very quickly.
Absolutely. And then when you house it in New York City, that energy just builds it even more. So I'm going to ask and see if we have any more questions. We're about, looks like about a little over 15 minutes, less than 15 minutes from the end of our time. So I definitely want to address any questions anybody has of Cathy about the retreat. Are y'all excited? Is anybody like taking a look at this? Do you have a friend, another woman, or even this one's open to men and women, isn't it, Cathy, for this retreat? Other people that you can
Yes.
share this opportunity with too.
Yeah, so some of my authors are men. They're very nice men. I have vetted them. No worries there. And also with the retreat itself, there's options to have your own room. There's options to share a room with one of the other attendees. And there's also options to bring your spouse, your friend, even if you've got a friend who would like to be part of the retreat, she's welcome to do that too. Or she's welcome to be your roommate and then go off and do her own things or his own things while you're doing the retreat thing. So yes, so all of those options are available. And when we went in, we didn't have any husbands come in November, but we did have husbands come in January. That was kind of fun because they joined us for the welcome dinner and the breakfast, and with the lunches being kind of open and flexible, they often joined the group and had lunch with us as well. So if anyone is thinking of bringing a spouse or a friend along, then there's lots of fun things to do.
Absolutely. I love that there's so many options, and it's not just limited to authors. This is really bringing people together to celebrate. Are you still pulling a lot of international crowd for this March event as well, like November?
You mean as far as attendees?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's I've got my fingers crossed that our author from Germany might come again. So that would be fun. And I think we've got someone from the UK that's considering coming as well. And of course, we've already got US and Canada built in, so we're already international.
Absolutely. International, and New York City is such a great place to travel internationally. If you're traveling, New York City is an easy way to get some of that United States and kind of a little bit of Canada vibe up there as well. But I absolutely love it. And I think March is going to be amazing. I'm already, like I said, I'm already forgetting about February because I can't wait for March to be here. Yeah. What's going on, Cathy, between now and March for you and your book projects?
Well, I've got my 4 books that'll be out between now and the end of Q2. So we'll see how many of them get out before the retreat. And as I mentioned, I've got a few different projects that are on the go right now. And I'm always open to new ideas as well. So if you've got a specific theme that you think would be great for a book, then definitely run it by me and let's see if we can create something new.
Yeah, I
Sharon?
see Sharon. Yeah, go ahead, Sharon.
And that was another question that I had. How do you come up with the themes? If you can answer that maybe shortly.
Well, a lot of it, I would say, comes from, my passion around supporting especially midlife women to step into new opportunities and possibilities. So my books have been things like I mentioned, Embrace Courage. The last one that came out was called Midlife Reimagined. We also had Midlife Awakening, Passion, Purpose, and Possibilities, Ripple Effect of Impact. So there are titles like that that are broad enough that really any of us has a story that can fit in that.
Okay.
And so yeah, so really, some of it's from ideas from other people, and a lot of it really is just about hanging out with women and hearing what they're inspired to read about and write about.
Okay, thank you.
So inspiring. I love also, Cathy, that you said earlier on in the presentation, the impact we can create with our stories. I absolutely love that because you're such an impact person. I know you didn't come into the book world from the love of writing or journalism, the traditional path. I mean, I know you are a writer individually, but it was more of helping women tell stories and helping others tell stories. And I love that you're expanding that and that you've been so successful in the last 5 years for you to have written and also participated in other books to the numbers that you have. It's just incredible. It is so amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much, Cathy, for all the information that you've shared. Thank you for what you do to support others out there on telling their story. I know that's just the beginning. That's not, like you mentioned, that's not the ending. Just telling your story and writing is the beginning because there is so much more that comes from that. But I would encourage all of you, if you're interested in following up with Cathy, please follow her in all the places. She's already put her book projects in the chat, and then she's already put her calendar link in the chat as well. If you don't already know her, take this opportunity to get to know her and see how she can help you tell your story. I believe every one of us has a story that's valuable and needs to be shared out there in the world. And when we share our stories, we help inspire people in ways that we never imagined we really could or would. And then, of course, if you would like to join us in person in March in New York City for an unbelievable experience, your past guests have said it was their best experience of the year last year. So we're hoping your guests will say the same thing. But we can't have them say that every single time because you're going to be at the point where you're doing multiple retreats every year. So we want it to be an impactful experience. And if you want to get out of where you're at, like I said at the beginning, it's cold where I am. If you want to get somewhere a little bit warmer, come with us in March to New York City because it definitely will be a lot warmer then. And it'll be such a beautiful time. And what a great experience that you've created. Thank you so much also to Joyce for sharing so authentically your experience. I wasn't prepared for you to go in that much detail, and I'm so grateful that you did because your feedback and your testimonial speaks volumes to this group of women. So thank you so much for that. Thank you, Cathy, for what you do. And thank you to my team, Donara. Thank you for helping provide support. We've got a few more minutes and we'll let that time go for Q&A with anybody that wants to stay here till the end. Thank you so much, everybody, for attending. Like I mentioned, we will send out the recording after everything batches, and we would love to have you join us in New York City in March. If this is not the opportunity for you, we encourage you to share it with other people that this could be the best opportunity for them. Help them tell their story and help them have a transformational experience, just like the guests that Cathy's already had as well.